We ha- Thank you so much. So today we have amongst us a few guests whom I would like to invite on stage so that they can introduce themselves, tell us who they are, what brings them to Delhi One Toastmasters. I'll begin with Toastmaster Simranjit Kaur.
Hello everyone,
Hello.
I am Simran and I am from Toastmaster of Delhi Club. I'm here today to deliver my speech for my project to level 1 and yes, I'm very excited to attend the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Simran. Which club do you belong to?
Toastmasters of Delhi.
Toastmasters of Delhi. Well, very welcome here. And now I'd like to ask Akshay Kumar to please unmute and maybe switch on the video.
One second.
Hi, Akshay, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. So actually, I'm new to Toastmaster. Today only one of my senior told about it. So like he told me to I was discussing with him about public speaking. So he told me about the Toastmaster and he shared the link and told to join this.
Thank you so much, Akshay. I hope that you have a great time and learn some tips and tricks to embark on your public speaking journey. May I know what you do in life? Are you a
Uh,
student?
I'm professional. I'm working as a green building consultant.
Dream
So
building.
basically, yes, like we are involved in making the building sustainable.
That's excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today. And now I'd like to ask Sumit. Sumit, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, Sumit this side. I'm joining my second meeting for Toastmasters International. I work as a data scientist in an MNC in Delhi, NCR. I think that's it from my side.
Thank you, Sumit. Any particular expectations from today's meeting?
Since I'm here to learn from people and here to learn more about how I can get better in speaking.
Thank you, Sumit. We are all here to learn from each other. It's a wonderful journey, and I hope that you have a great time. I'd like our Toastmaster of the meeting, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, to still introduce himself to the rest of the family.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Oli Sina, the president of the club. I'm Raj Mehta, and I have been a Toastmaster for now over a decade. And thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today and for taking on the all-important role of being our host and the Toastmaster of the meeting. It is also my pleasure to introduce him in a little more detail. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta has been not one time, but a two-time Distinguished Toastmaster. So I call him as Distinguished Toastmaster Square. He's an innovation, incubation, entrepreneurship expert, and he's a visiting faculty and a trainer in soft skills. He's a postgraduate in science and an MBA in finance. He has a rich working experience of 35 years in management and trainings in private, multinational, government organizations. Currently, he is affiliated with the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and he is serving as their Technology Transfer Officer at Foundation for Innovation and Technology Transfer, which is an industry interface unit at Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He loves to listen and watch birds, people, greenery, and music. He's a progressive learner and experimenter, and he strongly believes that perseverance will take you places. From my experience with the few years that I've had with in interaction with distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, I know that he is a wonderful experimenter. He's picked up a very interesting theme today, which is superstitions. I don't really believe in them, but I know that a lot of people do. And how long does it really take to say, touch wood? So, without further ado, let's listen to what he has to say and tell us about superstitions. Superstitions, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. There seems to be some challenge that he's facing, I believe. I'd request our Vice President Education or our Sergeant at Arms to please get in touch with him and see if they can help him resolve. Oh, thank you.
Hello, everyone. It was not any challenge that I was facing, but it was due to a superstition, according to which I was told that until and unless the president of the club calls me for 3 times, I won't win the best role of the meeting today. And that's why I was waiting for the president to call me thrice. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, CMOD, Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta as CMOD, Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta and as CMOD. You must be wondering what the type of person I am. Superstition. What is superstition? Some people believe in it, some people do not believe it. And in spite of superstitions being there or not being there, we all are living. Today we shall be talking about superstition, what it is, and how we can live with or without them. A superstition is an excessively religious belief or practice typically resulting from ignorance. It is also a misunderstanding of science or false causal misattribution. Superstition is also a belief in fate or sometimes magic. It is also considered as a perceived supernatural influence. Superstition is also a fear of something which is unknown. Superstition is also used to refer to a religious act or acts not practiced by the majority of a given society. For example, many acts performed by various tribes are religious for them, but superstitious for us. I myself am of the opinion that we all believe and practice in superstitions in one way or the other. Some people say that they do not believe in superstition as they trust themselves or God. Great. I ask, why do you touch feet of your elders? If something bad happens in your exam or interview or any such act, do you blame the person whose feet you had touched? No. Is it not superstition that touching the feet of elders shall turn all things into good or successful? Ask yourself, do you still not believe in superstition? And for elders, I ask one question. If you are an elder, and why do you believe that if your son or daughter or any sister shall touch your feet or the feet of God's statue, they and why do you touch your locket or wood for luck or something good to happen? So I believe there is superstition in our life?
So let me just distinguished Toastmaster Ratmita, you there? You're on mute, sir.
I had got disconnected. My net is not so strong today. Now, am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rolly. People take or avoid actions many times based on their belief in superstition. For example, superstitious belief in India. So, okay, so superstitions which are believed in India are, for example, a black cat crossing the road symbolizes bad luck. A crow cawing indicates that guests are arriving. And sometimes seeing a mongoose symbolizes to be very lucky. And etchy palms mean that money is coming your way. Not only in India, but in other countries also. People have believe in superstitions, they have experienced superstitions. For example, Tuesday the 13th is considered to be a unlucky day, but not the Friday. So if there is Friday and it is 13th, it is considered to be an to be a to be an unlucky day. Like in the August, it was 13th and it was Friday. And many builders do not believe in labeling 13th floor or flat or shop as 13. I give you a very live example or my own example that I have a shop in 70 Grants Walk, a shopping mall sector 70, Gurugram. And the number allotted to me by the builder of that mall is 12A and not 13. Because even builders believe that number 13 should not be allotted to any shop or flat. Similarly, there are more superstitions like knocking on the wood. We touch wood and we believe that it would keep the bad luck away. Similarly, we sometimes fear that somebody's evil eye can destroy our dreams. And this is applicable not only in India, but in Turkey, Greece, Egypt, Iran, Morocco. Similarly, black cats and birds have allegiance to witches and are considered unlucky in South Korea, UK, Ireland, Scotland, and of course, India. And sometimes trimming nails at night is also considered to be a superstition. And this happens in India as well as in Japan. So you see, there are many examples by which we say that superstition is there. I shall be talking more about it, but first let me introduce the structure of the meeting. Like any other Toastmaster Clubs meeting, except professional speakers, today's meeting is also divided into 3 segments. In the first segment, we shall be having prepared speeches. In the second segment, we shall have table topic speeches. And in the third segment, we shall have evaluation of activities done in segment 1 and segment 2. You might be leaving or you might be thinking that I am experienced Toastmaster, so I can handle a whole other meeting myself. No, it is not so. I have some team members who shall be helping me in performing many roles. And for that, I would like to invite my first role player, timer, Toastmaster Anand Kumar, to tell us about the role of the timer and different time slots which are allowed for different activities in the meeting. Over to Toastmaster Anand Kumar.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Hello and welcome everyone. I hope everyone is taking very good care of themselves. So I've got a challenge for all of you, and that is that I would like you to break your superstition, if you have any, of adhering to the time limits. If you think that you cannot adhere to the same, because I definitely had a superstition that I can't adhere to the time limits in my speeches. And why I'm telling you is because of very simple reason, that when you stick with the 5 to 7 minutes of your speech, you actually bring together all the great punchlines together, which decreases the length and brings those punchlines together and making it more impactful. So in prepared speeches, what I'll be basically doing is that all throughout the time, this gray card will be on. When it will be the minimum time, then I will show the green card. When it will be mean time, I will show the yellow card. And when the maximum allotted time is attained, I will show the red card. For prepared speech, let's say it's of 5 to 7 minutes, then I will show the green card at 5, yellow at 6, and red at 7. And for table topics where you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, you at least have to speak for a minute. So I will show the green card, then at 1 minute 30 seconds yellow card, and at 2 minutes the red card. Please note that for evaluation, the same will go at 2 minutes, 2 minutes 30 seconds, and 3 minutes. For prepared speech and evaluation, there will be 30 seconds grace period on both the upper and the lower limit. And yeah, towards the end, I will come back with my report when the G will call me. So handing on the stage to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anand Kumar, for explaining the role of timer. Moving on, now I would like to request Toastmaster Santosh Devi to tell us about the role of the R counter. Toastmaster Santosh Devi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Raj Mehta, DTM. Am I audible? Okay, thank you so much. Superstition can clutter our minds and render us inactive and ineffective. Similarly, incorrect usage of language or use of filler sound and words clutter our communication, make our messaging ineffective. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and the dear guests. I'm the R counter as well as language evaluator for today's meeting. For the time being, I'm explaining the role of R counter. As a R counter, I will be noting down the filler sounds like ahs, and repeated phrases like I mean. These sounds are not evident to the speaker, but these are very clear to the audience. So please take care of these sounds because I will be noting down when you will be speaking. I will present my report during the evaluation section when general evaluator calls me to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, our counter Toastmaster Santosh Devi. We will invite her again for explaining the role of language evaluator. I would like to tell about her opinion about the theme of the meeting, superstition. She says that in her childhood, she used to keep fast due to fear of God. As she grew, she understands things better and hence doesn't believe in superstitions anymore. Once again, inviting Toastmaster Santosh Devi for explaining the role of language evaluator.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Raj Mehta, DTM. As a language evaluator, my job is threefold. First, I will be noting down the correct usage of the language. Secondly, I will be noting down the incorrect usage of the language. And thirdly, I will note down the the word of the day used by the speakers whosoever will take the stage today. The word of the today's meeting is embolden. EMBOLDN, embolden. That is a verb that means to provide courage or confidence to do something. And the similar words like encourage and the hearten, and the opposite word like discourage and the dishearten. There are few examples like Neeraj Chopra has emboldened the youth to regard sports as a worthwhile career. And I embolden you all. Please use the word of the day as much as possible during the meeting as well as in your personal and the professional life. Thank you so much. I will share my report during the evaluation section. Thank you. Over to you, Raj Mehta, DTM.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep Devi. Moving on, our next role player is Toastmaster Bhavya Jain, and she shall be playing the role of listener. Before I invite her on the stage for explaining the role of the listener, when he asked her about her opinion about superstitions, yes, she has a jacket, and whenever she wears it, she has a miserable day. She gets late for college. Her work is also not good on that day. And it has happened not once, twice, thrice, but 4 times. And now she is scared of wearing that jacket. Now I invite Toastmaster Bhavya Jain to explain the role of the listener.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. If any one of you think that you are not a good listener, then stop being superstitious and believe in yourself. Today, my role as a listener is to make you sure that you are amazing listeners, and I'll be doing so by throwing questions in the end of the meeting when general evaluator calls me regarding the points which I feel are important and everyone should remember. I have emboldened in each and everyone present in the meeting, and I'm sure you would be able to answer my questions. So over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavya Jain. Now we move to part 1 of our meeting, which is prepared speeches. Today we have three prepared speeches. The first speech shall be delivered by Toastmaster Devi D. Before I invite her on the stage for delivering the speech, I would request her evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Rolly Sinha, to tell us about the objective of the project which Toastmaster Devi D is going to deliver today. Over to Distinguished Toastmaster Rolly Sinha.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting. Toastmaster Devi D will be delivering Level 1, Project 2, which is Evaluation and Feedback, the first speech from her path, Presentation Mastery. The purpose of this project is for Toastmaster Devi D to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply that feedback to a second speech. I hope to hear a fantastic speech from Toastmaster Devi D. The timer can note that the speech duration is 5 to 7 minutes. I wish her all the best, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Distinguished Toastmaster Rolly Sinha. Now I invite Toastmaster Devi D as first speaker, and the title of her speech is How to Overcome the Malice of Comparison. How to overcome the malice of comparison, Toastmaster Devi D.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Am I clearly visible and audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, thank you so much. A warm good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests. Once upon a time, there lived two friends, Shilpa and Sandhya. Both of them worked in the same office as software engineers. While Shilpa was very outgoing with everybody, she was disciplined, she was hardworking, she always sought sought out for mentors and she learned a lot of skills from them. She was always happy with what she was doing, and whatever small task she took up, she did it to perfection. On the other hand, Sandhya, she was an introvert. More than being an introvert, she never took mentorship from anyone. She always complained about the deficiencies in the workplace. She always compared herself to her peers, saying that, no, I don't have the skills like others to succeed. No, I don't stand anywhere close to them. I cannot do this. And she kept on whining. The result, Shilpa progressed in her career and made a mark, while Sandhya continued to remain where she was. So that brings me to the question, that is, why do we compare? And how can we avoid this malaise of comparison? Or is all the comparison unhealthy? Can we even go for healthy comparison? Let's find out. Psychology says that we compare mainly because of our ingrained trait of judging not just ourselves, but also others. So when you start judging yourself, you tend to compare your deficiencies with others. Maybe people are successful. Your mind automatically starts seeing at their success. It could be material success, or it could be spiritualistic success, and so on. Number two reason what you can see that why people compare is because of underconfidence. You don't have confidence in your own abilities, or you don't have confidence to reach up to a point where the other person has gone. You comfort yourself by comparing and saying that, no, I don't have that skills or potential to match the other person. Number three, what we see these days is social media has played a huge role in bringing about comparison between people. You see your friends posting social media, posting photos of vacations on social media. You see the friends flaunting their wealth on social media, and then you start comparing your life with others, though you may be well blessed. So social media unknowingly is bringing about that comparison in our life. Then another aspect that brings about comparison is the lack of openness or the lack of gratitude or the quality of appreciating others. A person who appreciates, a person who is gracious, hardly have time to think much about looking into the faults of others or comparing. So that's one aspect we need to look into. Now, when you come to comparison, is it totally unhealthy? I would say no. It's not totally unhealthy. There's something called positive comparison and something called negative comparison. When you talk about positive or healthy comparison, for example, CEO of a company, he compares the growth prospects of his company with that of another company, takes a leaf out of that company's book and implements and makes it into a new idea in his own company. Here, he is taking a positive cue from the other company to do something constructive. Here, this kind of comparison will only lead to better skill development, better innovative products. But when it comes to unhealthy comparison, you imagine you are fully blessed in your life. You have a well-paying job, you have food on your plate, you have a good shelter, but yet you are comparing your life to a person who is very rich, maybe your friend who has got a new car, and you are lamenting the fact that I don't have anything in life, I am not successful in life. So that sort of materialistic comparison, that is very unhealthy because it triggers negative emotions and it can lead to differences also between people. Now the next question is, how do you channelize the negative comparison into healthy or positive comparison? Number one, this depends on the peer group that you have. I would suggest you should learn to hang out with positive peers. Discuss positive ideas with them. Like maybe it's about a hobby, it's about gaining a skill, it's about improving oneself, it's about books or constructive ideas. In that way, your thoughts are channelized and you don't unnecessarily gossip about people or unnecessarily think about what other person is doing. You only discuss about the skill sets, the challenges one can overcome and support each other. Secondly, make constructive use of social media platform. Make use of social media to interact or network with like-minded people, influencers. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through all the posts, make sure that you only select the positive posts and follow constructive posts. Number 3 is to stop overthinking. Completely stop overthinking. You can do that by journaling and writing down your thoughts in a journal. You see, at some point, your comparison streak is triggered in your head. Write down that thought and decode it. Why did I compare? Can I make this thought better? Can I improve the quality of my life? And journaling, when you write down your thoughts, it really helps you to overcome your mindset. Then the tried and tested aspect is to meditate. Meditate for 10 minutes daily, and you see that you have that peace of mind and slowly don't compare your life with others. So to summarize, I would like to say that comparison is healthy if you channelize it in a positive way. Just learn these tricks and tips like journaling, constructive use of social media to overcome the negative aspects of comparison. Over to you, TM Modi.
Thank you, Toastmaster David D, for this wonderful speech. Now we shall observe silence for 45 minutes. Members may like to give their comments to the speaker.
I had a little doubt. May I ask one?
Yes, please, Manuel.
So in this session, do we only have to provide recommendations or commendations as well?
You can provide your comments, whichever ones you want, and the feedback link is shared in the chat window. If you like, you can also drop her a personal
Timer,
message.
is it completion of 45 minutes?
45 seconds.
Okay,
yes.
Seconds. Thank you, timer. Moving on to our next speech. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Jivitesh Singh. Before I talk about his speech and before I invite him on the stage, I would first like to invite his speech evaluator, Toastmaster Bela Agarwal. And when asked Bela about her opinion on superstition, she said that she has never believed in superstitions. She has always put her faith in God. Now I request Master Bela Agarwal to kindly tell us about the details of the project on which Toastmaster Jivdesh is going to deliver a speech today. Over to Toastmaster Bela Agarwal.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, DTM Raj Mehta. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you. Our speaker of the evening, Toastmaster Jivitesh Singh, will be presenting his first icebreaker speech in his Toastmaster journey under Level 1, Project 1 of Team Collaborations. The title of the speech is Overcoming the Storm, and the purpose of the speech is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speech. The duration of the speech was around 4 to 6 minutes. Timer, please note the time. I wish the speaker all the very best for his speech. Back to you, Timur, DTM Rajmehta.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bela Agarwal. When I asked Jivitesh about his opinion on superstitions, he says that he used to wear an emerald luck, which did provide him boosted the confidence. He won a couple of competitions all because of confidence. Members and guests, welcome Toastmaster Jivdesh Singh with his icebreaker speech, Overcoming the Storm. Overcoming the Storm, Toastmaster Jivdesh Singh.
My name is Start the Time. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, I will be giving my first icebreaker speech. This is a speech where I will talk about myself. For those who don't know me, my name is Jivitesh Singh. I was born in 2002 in the heart of this nation, Delhi. My family consisted of two other members at that time, my father and my mother. My mother was a homemaker, while my father was a lecturer at BIT Mecca. When I was 2 years old, he was transferred to Muscat, and we went along with him too. It was here where most of my childhood was spent. In 2009, an addition was made in my family. I got a little sister. Coming from a humble background, my parents taught me a lot about Indian culture, and I was made to learn Sanskrit, read Vedic texts, and a lot more. Now, before I go on talking more about my life and start boring all of you, I would request all of you to create an image of a storm in your mind. Get everything out and picture a storm, a terrible violent storm. And to be specific, a sandstorm, which is going to hurt. This storm is your fate. You can't run away from it. Even if you change of direction, it's still going to follow you. Do you know why? Because it isn't something that came from very far away. It's there in you. So all you can do is to give in to it and walk through it step by step. My life gave me my first storm on the very first day of school. It was here I saw the meaning of cool and funky. Children were using slang to speak basic English. So what I did was learn stuff myself very quickly and got out of the storm in a second. I had to learn how to speak English through communicating with other kids because the medium of communication in my family wasn't English. But once I did that, I forgot how was that a problem. Moving on, the next storm. This is a big one. This is a big sandstorm. The next storm that came in my life was in 2014. I had a brain hemorrhage. My whole left side of the body was left paralyzed. I had to spend 2 whole months in the hospital taking injections to remove that blood clot that was formed. There were regular CT scans, MRI scans, and whatnot. Finally, the blood was dissolved and I had come harm-free. However, my storm had just started. My 5th grade end semester examinations were nearing. Everyone told me to give in to the storm. I should be satisfied with just a P in my grade card. Just a P. P as in just passed. I was 12 years old. My life had just begun. And there were tons of things out there in the world that I wanted to experience. I wanted to try. I wanted to live. Running away from this little exam would mean that I will get scared of something else and run away from that too. Well, guess what? I didn't run away. In the next 3 months, I learned how to walk again while preparing for my exam. It was a difficult journey balancing studies and health. And it was really tough because completing 6 months worth syllabus in just 2 months I had to do all of that. The time went by quick, and finally, the day I meet my fate had come. I went to give my exam. And you know what? I passed with flying colors. I even scored the highest in mathematics in my class. It was a great achievement for me. Then I understood the real meaning of what my favorite author Murakami meant by saying, no matter what, you will have to go through that violent symbolic storm, that violent metaphysical symbolic storm. It may try to wound you, give you 1,000 cuts, but once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through. You'll be certain about nothing except the fact that you are the same person who went in the storm. Thanks a lot. Thank you Toastmasters for listening to me.
We can all unmute and just give him a standing ovation. I think he'll like to hear our claps. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, you can proceed and please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now request everyone to observe silence for 45 seconds. Thank you, timer. Moving on to our next speech, which is number 3, and this speech shall be delivered by Toastmaster Simranjeet Kaur. Before I invite her on the stage, I would like to invite her speech evaluator, Toastmaster Anand Kumar. Toastmaster Anand Kumar, when he asked him about his opinion on superstition, he says that he manufactured a few superstitions in his childhood. He used to keep his palms folded throughout the day, thinking that would help India win cricket matches. But later, these incidents reminded him the power of self-belief and how we build the story from the back. His second opinion is that cat passing across the way, and if he crosses it, it has led to his fear of losing some near and dear one, as he lost 2 fox. I'm sorry for that. Right after such an incident happened. Now he avoids it. I now request Toastmaster Anand Kumar to tell us the objective and the project details of the speech to be delivered by Toastmaster Simranjeet Kaur. Over to Toastmaster Anand.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. It's my pleasure to be here. The speaker, Toastmaster Simranjeet Kaur, will be delivering the second speech from her Level 1 Project 2. So she has already given a speech in this very project, and this is her second speech. So the basic purpose of the speech is that she has to deliver a speech which incorporates the feedback which she has received in her first speech of this project. the evaluator of the first project has mentioned these three things. I'll just like go by point. The first is excelled at in expressions, hand gestures, and able to connect with audience. The second is he has been challenged to work on voice modulation and variety of gestures. So these two things I will be looking into, and I wish the speaker the very best and looking forward to his speech. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anand Kumar. Today, Toastmaster Simranjit Kaur shall be delivering a speech with as fast as you can. Simranjit. Toastmaster Simranjit, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. There is one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve. You know what is it? It's fear of failure. There is nothing more desirable than success. People spend years and years to achieve it, but not everybody achieves it. Or I would say, not all persist long enough to achieve it. Let me tell you a story of a man born in Japan in a middle class family. He completed his engineering and designed a prototype model of piston ring. Piston ring is a part used in the manufacturing of automobiles. He presented the design to Toyota. Toyota rejected it badly. The man didn't give up. He redesigned it. Toyota not only approved the design this time, but also extended an offer to him to fund the establishment of his own industry in the capital. The man was on cloud nine. He instantly started working for the same. And once his factory was all done, was all ready, an earthquake hit Japan. His factory collapsed. The man didn't stop even then. He rebuilt his factory, this time America. Blew it away in the Second World War. The man rebuilt his factory, this time Japan. Lost the Second World War. People of Japan were not able to afford cars. Economy of Japan was severely impacted. There was no point in manufacturing piston rings. The man was devastated. One day, he was riding his bicycle and a thought struck. He attached a motor to his bicycle. Many people saw that. They wanted him to do the exact for them. He started getting a lot of orders. Gradually, he was able to establish his own factory to manufacture motorcycles. Slowly, his small industry got transformed into a $1 million empire. It employed thousands and thousands of people across the globe. Do you want to know? Who was he? The man I am talking about was Mr. Soichiro Honda, the founder of Honda Empire. I have learned two important lessons from this story and every other success story that I have come across. Lesson number one, don't quit that early. Failure is a fundamental part of success. It is inevitable. See it as a vehicle that takes us to success. It's a friend. The faster we fail, the faster we learn. The faster we learn, the faster we succeed. I remember an incident from my college placements where I was rejected by an organization I desperately wanted to work with. I was super discouraged. I joined another organization, not as good as that one, and I kept working on my skills. 2 years later, I got an interview call from the same organization that rejected me. I said no to them because I had a better offer. Tony Robbins, one of the most outstanding teachers of the world, says, there is one thing, only one thing that keeps us from what we want in life. It's a story that we keep telling ourselves why we can't have it. We were failed then, we would fail again. We were rejected then, we would be rejected again. Past is equal to present. Perfect formula for misery. And that takes us to our second lesson. Past is not equal to present. Harry Potter, a book written by J.K. Rowling, was rejected by 12 publishers before a small one agreed to publish it. And rest is history. This book made J.K. Rowling one of the most influential and wealthiest people on the planet. Oprah Winfrey used to cry by hearing other people's stories, and she was fired as a news anchor for the same reason. Few years later, through her show, the famous Oprah Winfrey Show, she was able to tell other people's stories in a way that made a difference in their life and the world. So next time you face challenges, which you would definitely get to face, remember not to quit that early. Learn from your failures. Stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, what is it that I could have done better to avoid this? What is it that I can do now to get what I want in life? Tell yourself that you're not afraid. You're not afraid to fall. You're not afraid of taking actions. You're not afraid of failure. Who knows? You might end up breaking records. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Simranjit Kaur. Now we shall observe silence for 45 seconds for members who give their comments to the speaker. Thank you, timer. Now it's time to cast our votes for the best speaker. May I request the president to show the names of the best speakers so that the members can cast their votes. While that ballot is being made, we shall move on to the next part of this meeting, which is table topic segment. Before that, some more information about superstitions. In some countries, it is believed that mirror and photographs catch some part of your soul in them. Hence, breaking of a mirror, especially when you are looking into it, and a photo frame brings bad luck in your life for 7 years. 7 years. Another belief is that according to Mexican and Caribbean folklore, a bird entering into your house, circling in a room and sitting behind a chair caused death of someone in that house. One more superstition is that in Argentina, seventh son turns into a werewolf if not adopted by president of the country. Just imagine, such a superstition is there in Argentina. Now, we shall start with the table topic section. And our table topic master is Toastmaster Vinayak Goyal. When I asked Toastmaster Vinayak Goyal about his opinion on superstition, he says that he doesn't believe in superstition. However, he has witnessed some superstitious incidences in his life. So on positive side, he says that he manifests his goals whenever he sees 11 is to 11. And on the negative side of this superstitions, he says that twitching of left eye brings bad luck or news. So what happens whenever his left eye twitches? His mind starts boggling up and he starts getting negative thoughts in his mind, which ultimately results in a bad mood and finally a bad day. Now I invite Toastmaster Vinayak Goyal as our table topic master. Over to you, Toastmaster Vinayak Goyal.
Hello everyone, how's it going? I hope you all are having a really good time here. So welcome to the most interesting segment of today's meeting, which is a table topic segment. I am Vinayak Goyal and I will be your today's table topic master, in which I will give you some random topics related to the today's theme, in which you have to speak unrehearsed. And I embolden you all to please actively participate in today's table topic segment. So yeah, let's without further ado, let's begin this. So who wanna go first? Please, who wanna go? Okay, Bhavya, great. So what you have to do, just choose a number from 1 to 15. 2?
Yes.
All right. 2. Okay. Superstitions are habits rather than beliefs. Superstitions are habits rather than beliefs. Bhavya Jan.
Superstitions are habits rather than beliefs. Very well said. It is actually true because whatever we start believing, it becomes our habit. Like I shared my example about my jacket. So I had a habit that whenever I wear that jacket, I feel more comfortable and I relax too much that my day doesn't happen very good. So it is just a belief that I have made in my mind that wearing that jacket makes my day miserable, but it is actually my habits which make my day bad. So but now I have thought that when I will wear the jacket next time, I would be very conscious that I don't follow those same habits and stop believing that jacket is unlucky for me and be more conscious about whatever I do is not affecting my overall health or my work. So this is how our belief can change anything. So if you have any belief in yourself that I cannot do something or I'm not good enough, I don't have that many resources which I should have, these are all just our habits to procrastinate things. If we have belief in ourselves that I can do something, we would be able to achieve it. So next time you think anything like that, just think, is it your habit or your belief which is stopping you to do that thing? Over to you, table topic master.
That was really insightful. Thank you, Bhavya, for that. So who wanna go next? I think I should. Sumit, do you wanna go?
Sir.
Sumit, am I audible? Do you wanna go next?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, which number you want to choose, except or 2, between 1 to 15?
I will choose 7.
All right, 7. Okay. Superstition vary country to country, person to person, but the underlying belief is the same. Superstition vary country to country, person to person, but the underlying belief is the same. Sumit Kawan, over to you.
Yeah, superstition vary from country to country and person to person, but underlying belief is the same. I totally agree with this statement. As mentioned by Toastmaster Raf Mehta in his introduction, he told that in Argentina, if there are people, if they walk through a glass and the glass breaks, then they feel that means the glass captures a part of their soul. And if a glass breaks, then there's something bad which is going to happen. And say in India, if you're crossing the road, a black cat crosses the road before you, you basically feel that something bad would happen. These are 2 examples of supporting the fact that superstition vary from place to place. But as far as the belief is concerned, people attach a belief to almost anything in life. Anything that has been ingrained in their system since their childhood, which they've seen around, which they've seen their elders doing without basically using their logic and proper reasoning to why that has been happening, and because of which that basically gets ingrained in a system, and we keep on believing it throughout our life, even though we know it's not true, but we do keep on believing it, and we do not question the thought of why exactly we're believing it, and we keep on going through the same system throughout our life. So the thing is, we basically have to understand why exactly have these superstition come in the first place, and we basically have to analyze if these things are actually true or not, and proceed with our life. And if we approach everything in a logical way, I think most of us would be able to overcome the belief or overcome the superstition in the long run and lead a life which is a lot more insightful. Thank you. Back to you, Vinay Goyal.
That was great. That was indeed a great impromptu speech by you. Thank you very much. So, who wanna go next? Who wanna go next? Please raise your hand if you wanna go next. Simranjit, you want to go for the next impromptu speech?
Sure, sure.
Am I audible?
Yeah, your voice is breaking a bit.
Am I audible?
You're audible, but your voice is breaking.
Am I audible enough?
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. You can give me the topic.
Okay. Am I audible? I'm visible? All right.
Yes.
Okay. So please choose a number from 1 to
I can't hear him.
He dropped out.
Yeah, he dropped out. Right.
Let's just give him 30 seconds to join back. Simran, if you'll allow me to give you a topic.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Simranjit Kaur, what would you get rid of? Friday the 13th or the black cat?
Okay. Thank you very much for that interesting topic. Friday the 13th or black cat? Well, I would get rid of the both. words, and it is very important to understand that your mind is trained in a way, whatever you believe in, you'll do the same. Your mind always works on patterns. If you believe that you're good enough, it will make sure for you to excel everywhere, to make you believe, to keep your belief intact that you are worthy. And before a competition, if you believe that okay, all other people, all the other competitors are better than me, and you're not good enough, keep a note. You are not going to win the competition, because your mind will make sure that your belief is always intact. These superstitions that we are talking about, they are called superstitions because we don't have any strong logic behind it. Yes, there are few superstitions which we have logic behind, but it is not very prevalent uh, in the public. They don't know what they are doing and why they are doing. If they know, it would not be a superstition for them, and this superstition would easily become their belief. You know, if a cat would cross the road before you and you believe that something bad is going to happen, it would happen. It would happen. There is no point that it would not. As Bhavya said, that she has a jacket which she believes that is lucky for you or it's not lucky for you. Believe me, whenever you put on your jacket, your mind knows what is it inside, what you believe in. And it will make sure that it happens, whatever you believe in. So choose your beliefs wisely, invest your thoughts in good things, and good things will happen to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Simranjeet Kaur. Toastmaster Vinayak, are you back online?
Yeah, actually, I will not be able to continue with my video, but that voice is audible or not?
Yeah, so I think you very effectively established your case that you won't be able to continue as the table topics master because it took us a long time to understand what you were saying. So we'll just take one more speaker and then we'll end the table topics. Would you like to give a table topic? I can invite Mannat for you.
Yeah.
Toastmaster Vinayak, can you hear me? Okay. Gavelier Mannat, you're a student, and I'd like to understand from you, what are the superstitions you believe will get you the best grades in your school? What are the superstitions that you believe will get you the best grades in school? Gavelier Mannat.
So I think this topic won't have that much relevance in my life, because since my childhood, I've never been exposed to any such superstitions, whether it's the black cat passing or it's the Friday 13th. I really couldn't understand most of the superstitions that were being talked in today's meeting, which is why I can't really comment on that one superstition that can help me get good grades in the exam. So setting that aside, I've always believed in the policy of studying hard and studying hard before the exams and getting good grades. And I think that will be the only mode that will help me get good grades. There aren't any superstitions I'm aware of that will get me good grades in my exams. Thank you.
Would you like to share a little bit more? I'd like you to reach the 1 minute mark, please.
Okay. There
You
aren't
can
any
speak
ideas
on
as
your
such
belief.
coming on my mind.
You can speak on your own beliefs, right? You don't need to. Okay. So, Manna, thanks for trying, even though it was a slightly offbeat topic for you. I'm just going to launch the polls for the best table topic speaker first. And then with the permission of the Toastmaster of the meeting, I'll launch the polls for the best speaker. So let's vote for the best table topic speaker according to you.
There seems to be a small glitch with the polling.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yes.
able to submit it. It's saying as poll neither started nor ended error one.
Right. I think we'll just work on it a little bit and we'll come back to everyone with the polls. Thank you. Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting, back to you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Rolisina, for picking up some part of the topic session. Moving on to our next section, which is evaluation section. Before we move on, let's have some more examples or happenings in the area in the field of superstitions. In some countries like Russia and Norway, whistling indoors leads to financial difficulties. Similarly, sitting at the corner of a table delays or mars the chance of getting married in Russia, Hungary, and some other countries. And keeping your purse on ground makes you financially poor in Central South American countries and Philippines. Now we have come to a session which is known as evaluation session, which shall be conducted by distinguished Toastmaster Roli Sina. When he asked her about her opinion on the theme of the meeting, superstition, she says that she doesn't believe in any kind of superstition. A brief introduction, though she is the president of the club and everybody knows about her, but maybe the introduction which I'm going to deliver might not be known to members of this club, though it is known to members of other clubs. This Toastmaster Olisina has been a Toastmaster for last more than 3 years. She has been working with Cadence Design Systems and MNC in the electronic design automation domain for the past 17 plus years. She is also responsible for the Cadence Scholarship Program that facilitates college education for underprivileged students. Currently, the program benefits around 118 students in Delhi NCR. She aspires to be a scintillating speaker one day. She loves to read and learn about the English language. Let's all welcome distinguished Toastmaster Sina as the general evaluator. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Sina.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster of the meeting. You've been holding the stage really wonderfully so far. And I'd like all of us to applaud for each one of the role players who have taken the stage and the speakers who have taken our stage today. Before we begin, I know that most of us do not believe in superstitions. And I don't either, like our Toastmaster of the meeting already explained. According to me, superstitions are used by people to highlight some degree of control over an event which they can neither explain nor control. What we forget is that in life, very rarely do we have any control. We have control only over our responses. So if we want to change the outcome of the same events that happen again in future, we need to change our responses. We need to identify where we responded a little bit inaccurately and where our actions were absolutely bang on point. This is the structure on which our evaluation segment is built. If we want to identify where we want to improve and what kind of things we want to continue, we need the guidance of those who have been observing us to tell us what are our improvement areas and what are our strengths. As we proceed with the evaluation segment, the first in number will be the speech evaluators who will be called to the stage to present their observations on the speeches that they heard and were dedicated as speech evaluators in a CRC, which is a commendation, recommendation, commendation structure, so that our speakers not only get to know the areas that they need to focus on in their future speeches, but are also encouraged to take this stage again. The second set will be our tag team, in fact, our L tag team. So our listener will have a session and quiz all of us on something that we should have been paying attention to, that is this meeting. And then the rest of the tag team players will present their reports. Finally, I will have my own observations presented to you in a format then again, which I would like to have in the form of CRC. So without further ado, let's begin with our speech evaluation. And I doff my hat of GE and I put on my hat of speech evaluator 1. I'm evaluating the speech of Toastmaster Devi D, who had a fantastic title. I love the malice of comparison, such an interesting title. And then she had a very apt virtual background, which brought home the point so beautifully that are you comparing the same or apples to oranges? Very nicely done. I felt that the problem and solution structure that she had adopted of raising some rhetorical questions, why do we have these comparisons? What do they lead to? How can we deal with them? And then going on to a solutions structure where she had very concrete tips that we can all utilize in our lives. I really like the fact that she summarized it all so that we have a strong takeaway from the entire speech. I felt that the story that she had right in the beginning offered an opportunity. Stark opposites means that there can be absolutely stark connotations and characteristics of each of the characters that she had. Shilpa could have been bolder. Sandhya could have been a little introvert, quiet, not speaking too much, very soft. That kind of thing would have helped us retain the characters a little more in our mind and given her an opportunity to use voice modulation to keep that attention engaged. The structure of the speech was very beautiful. It had such a smooth flow, but the ending was a little abrupt. I felt that suddenly the speaker was rushing into her points and just making sure that she ends in a manner where none of her points are missed. One less question and one less tip might have given her room to have a smoother ending and to make sure that she has another story which has a more positive ending where the comparisons are positive and helpful. The virtual background was innovative. but it hampered my ability to appreciate her hand gestures. As you can see, as long as I'm keeping my hands in the middle, you can see my hands, but the minute I take them here, they start getting cut off. And in a speech, that's not what we want. I loved the entire structure with which the topic was dealt with. It's a very relevant topic. Most of us utilize this, but we don't give it the kind of analytical approach that our speaker has given us. I'm sure that I'm taking back in my kitty a very good set of tips and tricks how not to compare and how to compare. And I hope that she'll keep giving us these kind of speeches again and again. The general evaluator cap is back on. Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome on stage our second speech evaluator.
Hello. My audio.
Hello. Yes, Toastmaster Bela. I couldn't see you. I'm sorry. Yes, Toastmaster Bela Agarwal. She'll be evaluating the speaker's Toastmaster Jivitesh's icebreaker. I wish her all the best and welcome her to the stage. Toastmaster Bela.
Fear is the main source of superstition. To overcoming the fear is the beginning of wisdom. Today, our speaker told us how he overcame the storm. Thank you, General Evaluator, DTM Roli Sina. Good evening once again, all of you. First of all, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Jivitesh Singh for his icebreaker speech. Coming to my evaluation report. As an evaluator, I am supposed to follow the format of CRC approach, which is commendation, recommendations, and commendation. But today finding even a single piece of recommendation for the speaker became a huge challenge for me because the speech was given with much confidence and high spirits. The speaker achieved all the speech objectives and maintained a proper speech structure. I like how beautifully he included the audience by telling them to imagine the storm he wanted to talk about. His body language and his hand gestures complemented his speech. The language was simply and easy to understand. It seems as if words came out naturally to him. The speech was really inspiring. Just to maintain the respect for recommendation, I will say it would have been a better if the speech duration was a little longer. I believe that speaker has all the qualities to become a great leader, and I know he will become one. We all would like to hear more about from you, and I wish the best of behalf of everyone to the speaker. That's all from my side. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bela Agarwal. Just like you would wish for our speaker to have gone on a little longer so that we could be more inspired, I would have also liked you to go on a little longer in your evaluation and encourage our speaker a little more by citing more of the great points that he had included, and also encourage him because he definitely has the potential to include voice modulation in his speeches so that the speech becomes even more engaging and the content comes out even more beautifully. But thank you so much for that speech evaluation. I'm sure that our speaker is very encouraged and will be taking this stage again very soon. Thank you. Now I'd like to welcome on stage our third speech evaluator, the man with multiple hats, our Toastmaster of the meeting, and our speech evaluator number 3, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Oh, My apologies. I think we had changed.
Yeah,
It is yes. Yes, apologies for that. Still a man with multiple hats. Our timer and speech evaluator number 3, Toastmaster Anand Kumar, also our area director. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Ruli Sana. And here I am talking about the speech. After listening to speeches, there are few speeches which we forget, and there are few speeches which help us take ourselves back and reflect on our own life journey and what we as humans are. This is really very important for the reason being as a speaker who is beginning in a pathways journey is because when we reflect as a speaker, that's when we come with new content. And that's what I really like about the speaker. She had authentic content of her own, which was relatable to the audience. There were two aspects to it. First was that she came up with stories of others, like the story of how the Honda Empire got built from the series of failures that came in and then to success, which slowly turned the pathway. But there was another aspect to it. That was the personal anecdote. How she went to a company for a job, which she really was desperate to, that job was her dream job, and then she couldn't get that, and then she moved on to another one. And when after 2 years, the situation just flipped, she rejected the job. That was really, really very sort of a strong point, or probably I'll say one of the few top high points of emotions in the speech. Uh, Adding to the same, I would like to mention two things here. The first is that on these very same fronts, the speaker could have used two things. First, when she was mentioning about her story or about other stories, like at one of the situations we said cloud nine, she could have go to one part of the camera, one part of the stage, and then she should have just taken a leap and shown the hand that, yeah, at the cloud nine. So that would have added to the speech. At other occasions where she was trying to uh, mm, as I said, at one of the other occasions when she mentioned about how that job offer story went in, so she could have also used the facial expression, and that could have also added into another, turned out to be another element where that could have acted as a humor. Why humor? Because that adds just another element, and sometimes to send the best message out, it is always said that you need to soothe the audience first, and then when you come with the message, that time it will be the best thing. So just another thing which the speaker can try to work out, or if that suits her speaking style. But yeah, she had a great structure to the speech. She has voice modulation. Just a few places she has came a long way in her journey. If she can just tweak one to two, three things here, because at one of the instances when she talked about Oprah Winfrey, she had that very husky in her voice, and that smiling face just made it more relatable to the audience and added voice intonation. I wish the speaker the very best. She has used several techniques like anaphora and all, and I really look forward to hearing more of her speeches in the coming days. It's over to you, General Evaluator.
Toastmaster Oli, you're on mute.
And I was seeking such pearls of wisdom anyway. So Toastmaster Anand, you have given us a very good structured evaluation of the speaker's content, giving us the reasons why you appreciate the speech, giving very specific examples there, and giving very helpful and workable recommendations. I'm sure that the speaker will benefit from your evaluation and will be delivering even more empowering and stronger speeches in the future. And I hope that you will visit us again, Toastmaster Simranjeet Kaur, and give us a chance to appreciate your speeches one more time. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to launch the poll for our best speech evaluator. Okay, this one definitely worked. Okay. There's just one person who could not vote. If you're unable to vote for some reason, you can send the vote to me on a personal message, of course. Okay. I'd like to also launch the poll for the best speaker at this time.
It is still showing
What is
the
this? What is not working?
Again, there's some challenge. So our Sergeant at Arms also had to go, and it won't be possible for any of us to disconnect from the meeting, log in with.
What is not working? Yeah.
Yes, I agree, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Toastmaster Anand, can you just see if there's something that you can do about it? Otherwise, we'll just proceed with
Yes, I'm just
messages.
trying on the back end. Yeah. Just give me a few
Thank
minutes.
you so much. Thank you so much. So now we'll move on to our auxiliary role players. It's time for us to show whether we have been listening or not. I'd like to invite on stage Toastmaster Bhavya Jain, our immediate past president, the listener of today's meeting. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Rudy Sinha. So now it's the time for me to prove your superstition wrong, if there was any. So my first question goes to our guest Toastmaster Simranjeet Kaur. Okay, so I know you have been a Toastmaster since a long time, so I want you to recite the mission statement of Toastmasters Club, which was told by a Sergeant at Arms. You can try.
Okay. See, I am not. I don't know if I would be able to do that.
Okay, sure. I would like to pass this to Toastmaster Santosh Devi. Would you like to try?
Yeah, sure. We provide a supportive and a positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop their communications and the leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and the personal growth. Thank you.
Amazing. That was perfectly correct, Toastmaster Santosh Devi. Very good. So our next question goes to Toastmaster Devi D. Before coming on stage, our distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta had a superstition. What was it?
That his name should be called out 3 times. I guess that. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Very well, Toastmaster Devi. So my next question goes to our guest Sumit Kumar. We talked about many superstitions today, so you can name any 4 you remember.
Any four. First one would be your superstition regarding your jacket. Second one would be the superstition of a cat crossing the way. Third one would be the superstition of calling the speaker's name at least thrice before he starts speaking or appears on the screen. And last one would be the superstition of not putting a purse on the floor because of which people might become poor in a given country.
Amazing guess, Sumit. You are very attentive throughout the meeting. Kudos. So my next question goes to Toastmaster Anand. Toastmaster Devi in her speech talked about comparison. So why do we compare, and what is the major force that drives us to compare ourselves towards others?
I'm not very specific, but it was something like that we don't like treasure or like what we have, and rather we only look about what others have. So that's something which I think of.
Yes, and Toastmaster Devi also talked about that we have a habit of judging ourselves and others. We also have underconfidence in us, which makes us, which we have to comfort ourselves that I am not able to do it. That's why we are different. And the force which drives us to compare more is social media. So my next question is for Toastmaster Bela. Are you there, Toastmaster Bela? Okay. So I would like to call Toastmaster Jivitesh. Please there. Okay. So this goes to distinguished Toastmaster Roli Sinha. How can we overcome from comparison, the negative comparison?
So one is that we look for everything to be everything that is positive in whatever we are trying to look at, whether it is social media or other people's achievements. And the second is to not think about it too much, just go ahead with our actions instead of worrying ourselves that we are going to fail and measuring ourselves to some kind of unattainable success. And one more, which is probably one thing that I'm definitely going to try, is meditation.
Amazing, Toastmaster Roli. So my next question is for distinguished Toastmaster Raj. Toastmaster Jivitesh in his speech mentioned about a metaphor for describing his big struggles in life. So what was it? The metaphor he used to describe his struggles.
I think that because there was very weak signal at my end and I had dropped also. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Toastmaster Simranjeet, would you like to answer this question? The metaphor Toastmaster Jivitesh used in his speech.
Sorry, I will pass it off.
Okay, so the answer is storm. He used this to describe the struggles in his life. So that's all from my side. I think you all were amazing listeners in today's meeting. Now I would like to hand over the stage back to our general evaluator. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bhavya. What a fantastic combination of some very easy and nice and interesting questions, coupled with some really tough ones. I'm so glad that you kept us on our toes. And I loved the fact that you started with something which is so close to my heart, and that is the mission statement. And I also admire that your listening skills continue throughout your session as well. And the way you said, yes, and this also happened. A really nice way of encouraging people to come forward and answer your questions instead of making them feel that they're like put on the spot. Thank you so much for that session. Now I'd like to welcome on stage our counter and our emboldening grammarian, who must be wondering why we have decided not to use the word of the day today. So let's embolden her with a huge round of applause to take the stage and give us reports for both our counter as well as grammarian. And the timer can probably time her for the total of female. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roli Sinha. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening once again. I'm here with my report as a R counter. Please have a round of applause for the Toastmasters Simranjeet and Bela Agarwal. They didn't use any filler sound. And also have the round of applause for Roli Sinha and the Raj Mehta, because they have taken the stage a very long time, and I found for the Roli Sinha only 4 R sounds and for Raj Mehta only 5. So that's really commendable. Other than that, Anand used 6 R sounds and 3 so and 2 and. Devidi used 4 R sounds and 2. Jivitesh used 5 R sound and Sumit used 5 R sound, and the favorite word is basically and used by Sumit 5. And Bhavya favorite word is so and used by 5 times. So that's all from my side for the R counter role. Coming to the language evaluator role, there were a lot of good words used in the meeting by members like attribution, supernatural influence, introvert, deficiency, devastating hamper, inevitable, bang on, concrete, connotation. And there is one quotation that is superstitions are habits rather than belief. According to me, there were few incorrect usage of language and the pronunciation. Like if we were talking about the past, then it would be she learned, not she learned. And I think it would be I invite, not invites, or I invite her, not hers. And there were few incorrect pronunciation like it's career, not carrier. It's healthy, not healthy. It's malice, not malice, I think. And the word of the day used by thrice, one by Toastmaster Vinayak and twice by Toastmaster Rolesina. Thank you so much for that. With that, over to you, Toastmaster, Journal Evaluator, DTM Rolesina.
Thank you so much, Madam Counter and Grammarian. I really like the way you applauded our flawless and relatively fluid speakers right in the beginning, and then went on to list down very specific areas of improvement for the rest, even giving us exactly which word they need to work upon. And that may not be the regular filler words. So thank you so much for that. And even as the language evaluator, your report was very comprehensive. And I think that we can give her a round of applause because it's not easy to count all the filler sounds, words, and take care of the grammatical challenges. Now I'd like to ask our timer if he can unmute himself and now share his timer's report with us.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. Sorry, General Evaluator. So here is the report at the timer of, I have recorded the time. So here is the role which the speaker was playing. Here is the name of the speaker. Here is the lower limit, the mean, the upper time, and here is the time taken. So over here, you can see that there are few red marks. So these are the time limits. These are the timings which the speakers have crossed their time limits, including the 30 seconds grace period, which includes distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta and timer, which is me. And then there's another 2.3 minutes. And then there's whose session went on for 5 minutes and 55 seconds. But most of the speakers have actually stick to the time limits, and this is a really very good thing. Three pointers here, that 3 speakers, including me, I took 3 minutes and 29 seconds for my speech evaluation. And then Toastmaster Ulisima took 3 minutes and 29 seconds for her speech evaluation, and Toastmaster DVD took exactly 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So if these 3 folks can also try to cut short a bit or try to prioritize or what's the most important thing, that would be helpful, because that will just make sure that they are not disqualified in the upcoming meetings or in the contest when they participate. That's it on my part, and I would like to hand over the stage back to the general evaluator, and the report will be available offline if someone would want to have a look at it. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Timer. What a detailed and colorful report. And you are really amazing. because most people wouldn't know that he was also helping me out with the polls while answering the listeners' questions and making sure that the timing is still captured. It's really amazing. I'm going to launch the Aussie role players poll. Two people who are left to vote. Okay, thank you. I'm going to end the poll here. And now I'd like to launch the best speaker poll again. I hope it works this time. Again, two more people left to vote.
Toastmaster Oli, I could not vote. I'm sending you my vote in chat.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to launch the table topics speakers poll. All right, thank you for voting. Okay, I'm going to begin with my report as the general evaluator. I really liked the Sergeant at Arms opening. It was a very professional way of letting us know exactly what kind of things we need to take care of through the entire meeting and how. And he even told everyone that he is the tech master. So if any help is needed, then he can be approached. The Toastmaster of the meeting took on the stage, and I just adored the way that he introduced it. It was full of humor, and it was so interesting and absolutely grabbed the attention, and he kept that attention throughout the meeting. He has so many examples, very well researched theme. It is interesting, but I like the fact that he had an approach of, before we dismiss something that I don't believe in superstitions, let us first consider who does and why and what. So that kind of balanced approach is really to be appreciated. I like the timer and the R counter language evaluator and the listener's introduction. Very clear exactly what they will be doing, when they'll be presenting their reports, when they'll be taking the stage again, and making sure that their introductions are linked to the theme. Very well done on that. Our listener went one step forward and even used the word of the day. That was very, very well used. I had a very nice time during the table topics. One, because I could happily be a table topics master and therefore not a speaker. I did not need to think about what to respond to. Some of the topics were quite challenging. I liked the way Toastmaster Bhavya had her own example already ready to tell us how there are more habits. And she gave very strong arguments for the belief that she has. Then Toastmaster Sumit, he's really proven himself that he is one of the best communicators possible, because he has observed and demonstrated the first rule of communication, which is to be a good listener. He had listened to the Toastmaster of the meeting's intro of the theme so carefully, and he had the presence of mind to use it and reproduce it when delivering his table topic. Otherwise, also, his approach was so analytical and so all encompassing. It was a very nice uh, way of handling the table topics. The next table topic, again, very impromptu thought, answered in a very strong manner. She had a very strong stance, and I really like it that she understands that a table topic is first and foremost an opinion, nothing to be feared of that, oh, I'm put on the spot and I have to answer a question right now. So Toastmaster Simranjeet Kaur already impressed us with her prepared speech, but that's something that can be rehearsed. What I truly admired in her table topic was the clarity of thought that she has, and then she substantiates it with just the right pause at just the right place, and then the way she enunciated, if you think it will happen, it would happen. I really loved it. So the way the message comes across is so clear. Thank you so much for that. And Gabelier Mannat Kaur, even though it was a topic she could not relate to at all, and most of us might not understand that she's all of 13, when she's given something that she just cannot handle, she still stood her ground and she was able to speak on the topic. And she tried her best, and I'm very thankful to her for that. All of the table topic speakers, my suggestion is a challenge. It was not easy to bring in something like that today, but your topics can become even more interesting if you bring in a story. So just try to see if you can bring something like that in. I think that would really improve the responses that we have in a table topic segment. I'm quite happy with my speech evaluators. I thank them. I do not have any feedback for me, and I would love to see if you have any suggestions that can improve my evaluations in future. Please do share. The chat window is open. Most of you have my contact information as well, so I would love to hear from you. The rest of the auxiliary role players and speech evaluators I've already covered in my points earlier while taking the stage back from them. And at this point, I can only thank them. So thank you very much. And I'd like to call back on stage to continue with this absolute fun theme of the meeting, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Rolly Sinha. What a session conducted by you, taking evaluation of each and everything and giving your feedback, and then coming up with the summary. I won't be taking much time, and just conclude the session by talking on two aspects of superstition. Number one is negative aspect or negative impact. Superstitious beliefs can have a negative impact on the social well-being of people in society because they are highly associated with financial risk-taking and gambling behaviors. And on the other side, positive aspect of superstitions are that they sometimes give people some sense of control and ability to predict what will happen in their environment. So we see superstitions are there, people believe it. At the same time, some people are there who would refute it. They have some positive aspects, some negative aspects. We can live with superstitions, we can live without superstitions. It is up to you how we take it. With this, I would like to conclude this session on superstitions and invite the president, the general evaluator, the evaluator, and so many people in one, distinguished Toastmaster Rolly Sinha. Over to you, Toastmaster Olisina.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. I'm going to just launch our poll for the best role player. That has been a fantastic evening. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to end this poll at this moment. Okay. I'd like to hear from our guests now while I prepare the certificates. So please do not think that I'm not paying attention. I will do my best to respond to each and everything that you have for us to improve upon and something that you'd like us to continue. So I'd like to begin from Sumit. Sumit, why don't you give us your feedback first?
There's no feedback or suggestion from my end. It was a wonderful experience. Listened to a lot of speakers and got to learn a lot. Hopefully, I keep on learning and keep on improving. So nothing from my side as of now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumit. And Simranjeet Kaur.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Well, my experience with the meeting has been really pleasant. I'm really glad that I got a chance to hear such amazing speeches. I was yeah, they were able to touch with their speeches, especially the icebreaker that was given. Yeah, it was nowhere as icebreaker. I mean, it was very good, very good. And special mention to you, General Evaluator. I found you to be flawless. You are really flawless, especially the way you evaluated all the members. I mean, all the role players plus the speaker. I mean, there's a evaluation contest that I need to attend, that I'm participating tomorrow, and I'm going to take tips from your evaluation. Thank you very much. And I really like the theme as well.
Yes, it was.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Simran. Please do keep visiting us. We'd love to see you and hear from you again. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta, your feedback. Sir.
Today I thought that I won't be invited as a guest because I am participating as a Toastmaster of the day. Anyhow, I like the meeting. Every speaker, every evaluator, role players, there was everything flawless, except at the time of a table topic session. But that was not fault of any. So that was not any human fault. Something to do with the networking that has been happening with me also during the meeting. I had to miss some part of the speech of Toastmaster Jivitesh. But all in all, it was a great meeting. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much. And thank you all for being passionate Toastmaster, good listeners, and good friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Coming from you, like such an inexperienced person, and you've been like, I just realized that Gavilier Mannat is 13 years old and you've spent 10 years in Toastmasters. So this is like one kind of comparison that we all might want to have, that how somebody can still stay so passionate and so driven, that not only is he doing whatever is required to be done in his own home club, where he is the president, and the way he takes on all the roles and the speeches that he delivers, the preparation that he does, but coming to a different club and then taking on the most important role. He was really our savior, and I cannot thank him enough for that, because the way he took on the role also was so beautiful. It's a lesson for all of us, and this is why we want that experienced Toastmasters should come to our club, so that all of us learn from them. So thank you so much for doing that. I'd just like to present the certificates. I hope everyone can see my screen. So I'd like to first of all congratulate our best table topic speaker, our guest, Sumit Kumar. Thank you so much. That was really a very nice speech, very comprehensive. And then best auxiliary role players, I can say role players because there's Toastmaster Santosh Devi to be applauded and there's Toastmaster Anand Kumar to be congratulated. Thank you so much for performing your roles so nicely. And then we have the best role player, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. That was
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
That was such a learning for all of us. I must have missed the best speech evaluator, this thing, but you can all just, I can all thank all of you for selecting me. And it's really been a very nice evening in spite of so many things going wrong. And today isn't even Friday the 13th, right? But that's just to tell all of us that what you believe in will happen. Thank you for that line, Toastmaster Simran. I'm sure that I'll be using it a lot. Not that I don't, but this is like just a affirmation for me to go on forward. If Sumit, you would like to stay back and discuss anything about Toastmasters, or if you have any questions, or if any of the members would like to discuss anything, I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we can have an informal session.